Welcome to this week's run of show. I was thinking back to the first thing I ever did as an event marketer, and it was actually wrangling speakers for a summit that I was throwing. I was just out of college, I had zero money, I did not have a network, and I certainly didn't have a process for how I was pulling this off. And recently, I got a call from an event marketer who was hosting a big user summit in London, and she asked me if I could help her and ping my network to wrangle speakers for her summit. As I dove into her process, I realized that she'd come up with a process that I wish I had when I was first starting off. And so what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna share with you how she thinks about wrangling speakers, procuring the best people to talk on stage at your upcoming summit. So she breaks her process into 4 different stages, and they're pretty easy to remember because they all start with S. They are set, search, show, and sell. So let's dive through each of those different stages now. I think you're gonna agree it's a pretty thoughtful way to fill out your speaking section. So the first step is to set a theme. And what that means is you need to lay the foundation for the event's content. The best way to do that is to host a meeting with all the stakeholders. That means get your head of marketing, comms, all the most important executives in the room, get your event team in the room, and try to leave that meeting by accomplishing 3 goals. Number 1, set a program theme. Number 2, set the topics that are going to ladder up to that theme. So what will the speakers be addressing that will be associated with that theme? And number 3, and this is going to take the majority of the meeting, try to mock an agenda. And I mean get really specific here. Go minute by minute of what that day is going to feel like and put it up on paper. Try to include all of the lunch breaks, the bathroom breaks. What is the attendee going to experience as they take in all of this content? Once you figure out that mock agenda, you'll be ready to move on to the next and very labor-intensive process of search. I would usually leave about a month of searching here. And the way to do it is to build a giant spreadsheet. And as you begin your search, you're going to want to divide up each of these speakers into about 4 different sections. And easy to remember, we're going to break them into the 4 Ds of speakers. So the first one are dream speakers. These are people that if you could get them to speak, oh man, you would do anything to put them on stage. This could be anyone from like Michael Jordan to Oprah. Like really throw some dream speakers out there. You'd be surprised if you ask nice enough, you might be able to get them. The second one is gonna be down the fairway. These are gonna be people who, they might be a little aspirational, but they really fit this content. They really fit this theme, and they're gonna get it, and they might come and speak at your conference. So down the fairway. The third are gonna be people, think of these kind of like your safety schools. These are gonna be people who are already speaking at conferences, maybe they're promoting a book, maybe they go to a lot of trade events, maybe they have a reason to speak, and I call these people DTP. Down to participate. You know that if you ask, they're gonna show up. So you wanna fill those out. And the last is gonna be don't. I can tell you, I've had a lot of ideas for speakers, and I definitely pitched my friend a lot of ideas for speakers, and it turns out that person just spoke at too many conferences, or they were associated with a competitor, or they had a bad reputation. You do want to identify them, put them up there, the don't section. Now, as we built out this list, we realized that there was a 5th D that was super duper important, and that was a D for diversity. Too many conferences have panels of 5 people who look a lot like me. As you build out your panels, I hope you'll think about finding people from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different genders, and put them on stage. I think you'll find that your audience will really connect with the content more, and it'll feel like a better event. And this is what I'll say, as you're building out this list, you need more people on the spreadsheet than you think. I mean, by the time we were done with this, I think we had something like 293 speakers that we were targeting. It was a lot. So as you go outbound, build a monster search list. So the next step is show. When we're talking about show, we're talking about showing the speakers the value. One of the best ways to show value is to put it into a brief or into a 1-pager that you can quickly email to a speaker. But the faster that you can show them the value to them, the faster you're going to get their attention and potentially lock them in as a speaker. And as we started doing this, we realized that there were really 4 reasons that people would actually want to participate in our event, right? That speakers would actually want to get on stage. So the 4 things that we found really resonated people started with P's. The first was people. We found that if we were able to say how many attendees there are, who those attendees were, who the other speakers are, people got other people excited. So people is the first P that you can promote. The next is prestige. Talking about how important your event is a very helpful way for a speaker to understand the opportunity for them. So talk about past success, how many attendees you have, how many sponsors you have. Showing the prestige is a good reason to get somebody excited about your event. So the third is purpose. Now, what is your event all about? Why are you even hosting this event in the first place? Is there a charity component to it? Are you speaking about the future of something? If you can convey that purpose to your speaker, they're highly likely to join if that purpose is aligned with their purpose, their passions. And last but not least, and it's unfortunate, but perks go a long way. And this could be things like pay, to covering their travel, to you're gonna get an opportunity to meet this person. If you can convey the perks that they'll enjoy and you can show it to them fast, it's likely that you're gonna at least get their attention. But getting their attention is really just the first step. The next step is sell. Once you get them even a little excited, you need to jump on that and become a salesperson. Now, here are 3 things that salespeople do really well that if you're selling your event, you're selling this opportunity, you should embody as well. And again, yeah, you know it, they all start with P. The first is persistence. Follow up, follow up, follow up. Send that email, call them, get them excited about this. You'll find that if you stay in their ear long enough, you have a higher likelihood of actually getting them to become a speaker. The second is personalize. You want to make sure that your correspondences are clever, but they also speak to that person specifically. Nobody likes getting sent a templated email, or at least one that feels like that. And the third is one that we found was really effective as we went outbound and tried to wrangle these speakers. Get on the phone, call them. People have a much harder time saying no to someone over the phone or in person than they do on email. So that's her process, and I love it. The 4 ways to do it is to set the theme, to search for speakers, to show value, and then to sell, sell, sell. Once you start doing that, you're going to start to see some success. People are going to start to confirm, they're going to show interest, they're going to start to reply. And what we found, our secret weapon, was once they showed even an inkling of interest, we immediately sent them a detailed speaker brief. Now, there's a lot to that speaker brief, so I'm going to save that for a future episode. We're also going to cover all sorts of things like how to do on-site management of speakers, how to really get them to stay on message, how to extract that value and turn that into an entire content plan. That's all coming down the road, but for the time being, I want you to focus on wrangling the top speakers that are going to really build up the content for your event. Okay? I hope that was useful. I will see you on an upcoming run of show, and make sure, per usual, I'm always available to speak. I promise I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Thanks for checking in, guys. Talk to you soon. Craving more event content? If so, subscribe below and you can check out more episodes of Run Up Show Weekly.